WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Southwest Airlines is facing boycott calls after a traveler was arrested by immigration agents at Denver International Airport. Ira Melman with the Federation for American Immigration Reform.
The administration is making it clear if you overstay your visa, you are going to be subject to enforcement just as somebody who crossed the border illegally.
The airline says the federal authorities already have access to passenger information through TSA screening. High blood pressure during pregnancy is rising sharply in Georgia, with new CDC data showing cases of gestational hypertension have increased 77% over the past 8 years. Health experts warn the trend is especially concerning as parts of the state continue to face severe shortages of maternal health specialists. And the American Red Cross has declared a national blood supply crisis as donations fall to a 4-year summer low. Officials say supplies of type O positive blood are critically low and are urging eligible donors to give. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
New Orleans, and welcome to the Good Morning Show. I am Will Sutton. I'm here with Ro Brown. Ro Brown.
Good morning, everyone.
That
Good morning,
is
Will
correct.
Sutton.
You are not off. It is 7:21. No, we were not on at 7 a.m. Technical difficulties have hit us once again, and the gremlins are being taken care of, and so now that's why you're able to hear from us. And we are happy that you are with us. As always, we like to tell you a little bit about what's going on with what we felt and what we saw coming on in. As things go in early August in New Orleans, it was kind of cool in the high 70s.
Yeah, that's freezing. That's freezing for us in July.
Yeah, high 70s and on into the 80s, of course.
Break out my sweaters.
I know. And bright and sunny in the next hour or so, and then we're going to go to partly cloudy, partly sunny for a couple of hours this morning. And then we're having a bright, sunny day going into the mid-80s and then the high 80s. And looks like we might touch upon 90, but that feel like, that's going to be 8-10 degrees higher. So it'll depending on where you are, whether you got air conditioning, it's going to feel like 85, 95 probably out there.
Well, we went to the Louis Armstrong Festival
Hey.
and it felt really good out there. Okay.
Did it?
Oh yeah. Usually it's just scalding hot for that festival. You just expect it. And the good thing about it is that you can go inside the Jazz Museum, into the Mint.
Yeah,
air
that's one of the nice things about that place.
Go in and cool off a little bit and then come back out. Well, you didn't need to do that yesterday. At least I didn't.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Well,
after
wonderful,
the rain
wonderful.
and cloud cover and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we got a good show for you. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the worlds of news, information, and sports. We'll be sharing some of that on this show. If all goes well, we are scheduled to talk with ACE, nationally recognized attorney Ben Crump, about the Nolan Wells case and what's going on with that. Lots of activity last week with updates on the autopsy, the status of the body, status of the investigation. There was someone arrested last week in connection with this. And we'll find out more from Attorney Crump as we go along. We'll also hear from Julie Donahue, who is a reporter with the Louisiana Illuminator. And really wanted to get Julie on because I've read her story with great interest because the headline said, "These Louisiana K through 12 jobs won't come with a state stipend this year."
Uh-oh.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Won't come with a state stipend. So Julie's done that reporting, and we wanted to find out more about what is going on because, of course, we want to see everybody get pay raises, but there's been, I'll call it a kerfuffle of things that happened over the
What?
over the last several weeks, and Julie is here to give us some insights. Good morning, Julie. How are you?
I'm great. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Good Morning Show. I read your story with great interest and had to read it again. It was like, what? I had no idea that some people were not going to be getting stipends. And for starters, if you would please give us an overview about what we're talking about with raises versus stipends, what happened last year, what was supposed to happen this year, didn't happen. Where are we before we talk about who's getting something and not getting something?
Yeah, sure thing. So for the past 3 years, the last year of Governor John Bel Edwards' term and the first 2 years of Governor Landry's term, teachers and school staff workers in K-12 public schools, and that includes charter schools, by the way, have gotten pay stipends. It's generally $2,000 for teachers and $1,000 for other types of staff workers. So secretarial workers, custodians, bus drivers. Those are some of the people who were getting the $1,000 stipend. This year, the legislature and the governor were hoping that Louisiana voters would approve a constitutional amendment that essentially drained some trust funds that were protected at the state level and use that money to pay off debt early. And that was going to give teachers and these other school workers, they call it a pay raise, but it was really just like kind of a replacement of the stipend, but on a permanent level with like a slight pay bump of like $250 and $100. But it was going to make this stipend essentially permanent, if that makes sense. That amendment didn't pass, as your listeners probably know. All of the constitutional amendments failed in May. And then there was sort of a scramble to figure out what to do in terms of teacher pay, because the legislature and the governor had not put the $200 million into the budget that they had for the past 3 years that covers the stipends, right? They were hoping the amendment was going to allow them to not have to spend that money. So that money wasn't in the budget. It never went into the budget. Instead, what happened is Governor Landry announced basically that he was going to tell K-12 schools that they had to take some existing funding that they get, and they had to use it to give the stipends. Now, there's been some tweaks to the plan since then. He came out again and said, well, if you're a local school district and you give a raise, you don't have to give the state a stipend. You can kind of substitute your own local money, which means you don't need to take that state money and give the state stipend on top of that. That kind of caused some confusion. But the other thing that's been a bit confusing is that the amount of money he was sort of saying, hey, school districts, you have to use this money for the stipends, was $168 million. Well, that doesn't cover the $200 million that they had used for the stipends in the past. You see what I'm saying? So there was a gap of $32 million.
That's a
okay,
big
so
gap.
who's not getting a stipend that has gotten one for the past 3 years, because this money doesn't cover everyone? And candidly, I've been asking for, I don't know, maybe I was asking for about 6 weeks, like, hey, how many people are not getting this stipend, and who are they? And I think what we've discovered is, I guess I'll back up and say, when this plan came out, the governor said, oh, the people not getting the stipend are administrators. And I think he said something along the lines of, people who are making $160,000 don't need a stipend.
Right.
And
I think
and
people can relate to that. Not that we don't ever want those folks to have a raise if they're worthy of the salary and worthy of a raise.
Right.
But in schools, I mean, of course, there's so many people who are making 30, 40, $50,000.
Right. Correct. So, but actually, Bessie, when it kind of came down to it, the Louisiana Department of Education and Bessie, the jobs that had the stipend attached to them for the past 3 years that won't be getting one this year are sort of much wider than just administrators. It includes school counselors, therapists, nurses, some central office workers, and administrators. And so it I mean, it's hard to explain because they won't say exactly how many people aren't getting the stipend this year, but what they said was 12,200 jobs that qualified for the stipend last year wouldn't qualify for it this year. So we can I think safely say people, thousands of people who were getting the stipend last year who work in schools
All
won't
right.
be getting it this year.
Okay, Julie, I want to apologize for not saying the O. Julie O. Donahue.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, so let's get that straight. First of all, Ro Brown has a question.
Good morning, Miss O'Donoghue.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, how do they decide what's the qualifications for getting this, or what disqualified these people who sound like the people who really need this? What disqualified?
Yeah.
Do you know? Do they tell you, or what?
So it sounds like it's the category of job you have, right? And maybe you're asking, why did they decide that these jobs don't get the stipends? I am speculating here because I don't think they've explained that. I think that it is probably people who are not in the classroom, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? So, they perceive that nurses and school therapists and stuff are not classroom teachers. Why, and I'm not saying that all these people aren't deserving, don't get me wrong, but
no.
why bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and secretarial people are getting a stipend, but these other folks are not? I think that's kind of confusing. I mean, I think probably what seems to have happened is the governor and the legislature sort of told the Department of Education, this is how much money you have. And they had to go kind of figure out how to make that work. Does that make sense? So they had to exclude some people, and these were the people who were on the losing end of things. But it seems like it's positions where it's people who are not, quote unquote, in the classroom, Now, I think you could argue, obviously a school therapist or a nurse is interacting with children,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I want to preface it with that's not your answer. That's what you're speculating as to why. Right?
I am speculating as to what it is. Yeah. It took kind of a while to even get them to tell me how many people, were on the chopping block, so to speak, or, give me an approximation. So I think hopefully we're going to hear more about that. I would also say I have talked to the head of the School Superintendents Association, and he said he believes school districts that can afford it will definitely try to backfill with local money the stipend for some of these folks, right? So there are probably some school districts that are going to say, we don't want these folks to see a pay cut, and so we're just going to use our own money to cover what they would have gotten through the stipend.
Wow. So any idea of the distribution, so to speak, I'm using that word in a general way, where are these 12,000 people? I mean, are they in certain parishes of the 64? Or are they in certain school districts or types of school districts? Are they across the state? Or where are these folks?
I don't really know, but I think we probably can say a little bit because of what we've seen so far just about the stipend conversation. I mean, in terms of just raw numbers of amount of money that's having to be shifted to deal with stipends. Your biggest school districts in the state, which include, Jefferson's Parish, East Baton Rouge Parish, those types of places just have more staff, right? And so I would expect that they have larger numbers of people in these categories. I guess I would say my observation is this could create a situation where school districts that just have more resources, and that would include like a Jefferson Parish or an EBR or even New Orleans, where they have more ability to raise money locally, right? They have a local sales tax base, they have local businesses, et cetera, probably are going to be in a better position to give stipends to these people than districts where they really have no sales tax base, some rural districts, and they just can't afford to cover these people's pay. And I think that there is, in general, this stipend plan that the governor has come up with creates maybe a bigger gulf between districts that just have more resources and districts that are, don't have those resources. They don't have a tax base the way that some of our bigger jurisdictions have.
Well, clearly, with all of those amendments going down, there was quite a bit of voter backlash for any number of things, and one of them being the elimination of the Orleans Parish criminal clerk job in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But that couldn't have been the only thing, because the rejection was statewide. So there was a lot of backlash against whoever, but it seemed to be directed at the governor and the state legislature.
I think that's a fair statement. I think there were a lot of things going on. I mean, I think certainly Calvin Duncan's position in New Orleans, that was part of it. I think we also have to remember constitutional amendments. People are just inclined, in my opinion, to vote against them unless you give them a really good reason to vote for one. You understand what I'm saying? So that you actually have to launch a statewide campaign to sort of explain to people, hey, you should vote for this. Because otherwise I think they're going to vote no. But I also think, you have to remember around this time was when the governor canceled the congressional elections.
Yep.
The Supreme Court decision came down. And that obviously does not just affect New Orleans, that affects voters statewide. I think there was a lot of anger about the way that the Supreme Court decision, just the decision itself, and then the way it was being handled. And also, I think that was creating a lot of anger. And there was a campaign that sort of encouraged people, hey, if you're angry, express your anger by voting no on these. And that, I think we saw that bear out. Now, I will say the one that had to do with teacher pay failed by the smallest margin compared to the others, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
maybe,
and along those
Go ahead.
lines, I mean, you're closer to this, have been closer to this than I have been. I've read your coverage and others, but it seemed to me, aside from the backlash, that teachers and teacher groups were split on this amendment and whether this was the right way to go. What's your sense of where teachers and teacher organizations were standing on this?
So, I mean, the unions, the two large unions, at least I know the Louisiana Federation of Teachers endorsed the amendment. But you're right in terms of rank and file teachers. And I believe the Louisiana Association of Educators did too, although they were concerned about there being some confusion. There was a school issue affecting Baton Rouge, and they were opposed to that, and they didn't want there to be confusion, right? I think two things were going on. I think there was some misinformation circulating about this amendment potentially affecting teachers' retirement that was maybe not entirely, I think the information around that was not entirely accurate, but there were teachers who had the idea that this was somehow going to negatively impact the retirement system for teachers. The amendment was. I think that had to do more with the amendment that ran previously that failed. but that was still circulating. And then some other people were just uncomfortable with the fact that they were draining trust funds that support early childhood education and higher education in perpetuity every year to kind of pay down debt to give these to make these stipends permanent. So they didn't really like the idea that this permanent source of funding for other education initiatives was being sacrificed, if you will, just to be able to make these pay raises permanent. I do think there are some teachers who didn't like that plan, and so they voted against it.
So let's say the amendment had passed. What would we be seeing about now if that amendment had passed?
So if the amendment had passed, the idea was that the state would have given local school districts money to pay down their retirement debt, and then those local school districts would have been required to give what they call a raise, but which is essentially the replacement of a stipend. They would have been required to give teachers $2,250, like a salary bump of that amount. So that would have covered the existing stipend plus $250 more. And the other staff that gets stipends would have gotten, I believe it's $1,150 or $1,100. So it would have covered their $1,000 stipend plus $100 or $150 more for the year. And that would have been permanent. The state also would have had to put some money in for charter schools who don't pay into the retirement system. They would have had to use some additional funding and to cover the money for those raises or replacement stipends for our charter schools. So that all would have happened. I think the reality is the teachers and the staff workers would not have seen that large of a pay increase. So I know this is referred to as a pay raise, but at the end of the day, it would have been $250 and $100 or $150. So it would not have been like a huge amount of money.
Right.
But they wouldn't have had to deal with this every year. We're having a discussion about whether they're getting the stipend, right? Like that would have been settled as a discussion.
One line that jumped out at me in your piece, Ms. O'Donoghue, was, I think it said, Landry's stipend plan is designed to incentivize local governments to take more responsibility for funding teachers and other school employee salaries.
Right.
You buy that, or is this just something that, I wanted to do this, and now I found out that I can't get this done, so now, here's really what I wanted to do.
So I think that the governor and many Republicans in the legislature believe that school districts, local governments, essentially, should be responsible for more of teacher pay. And when I say teacher pay, it's shorthand for school staff pay. That's something that we're hearing a lot, that they think that locals should have to pay for it more. There are many states where local school districts are, in fact, basically primarily responsible for teacher pay. That has traditionally, for example, been the case in Texas. I think what they have not addressed, and some of them privately have said this, is that here in Louisiana, we sort of restrict what locals can do in terms of their tax base, right? You can raise a local sales tax, but with the homestead exemption, you are really sort of limiting how much money people can raise through local property taxes or how much money local governments can. And in many states across the country, your local county or your local school district is primarily getting their money through local property taxes. But here in Louisiana, we've sort of limited how much local property taxes can be raised. And we also just have restricted, there's kind of caps on how much people can raise local taxes. By people, I mean local governments. So I think if they want locals to take more responsibility for those things, they're going to have to maybe also, well, they don't have to, but I think you would have to look closely at the places that do that and see, okay, well, how are locals able to raise money? And here, as I said, that's sort of limited, especially in parishes where the homestead exemption maybe takes up the bulk or all of many people's home property taxes. I'm not talking about New Orleans or Jefferson Parish where homes cost a little bit more, but there are parts of the state where your residential property tax bill may not actually amount to anything because your property taxes are completely covered by the homestead exemption. So.
All right. Well, we've been talking with Julie O'Donoghue from the Louisiana Illuminator about the pay raise, quote unquote, stipend, and how many thousands of people, more than 12,000 people, might have thought they would be a part of this newfangled program, but it looks like they will be not eligible and cut out. So thanks for your reporting, Julie, and appreciate your staying on top of this. What can we expect next with the legislature not in session and school about to start?
Well, for the next 5 months, they're going to be reviewing what's called the Minimum Foundation Program, which is the school funding formula that decides how much money each school district gets from the state, more or less. That's a huge deal. They're having a review committee meet. It will affect every school district in the state. Depending on how they change the formula, it could mean your school district gets more money for possibly decades to come or less money. And so I know it sounds very in the weeds and maybe a little bit like esoteric, but it's important for people who care about public education in the state to pay attention to, because it really is going to kind of decide a lot of things about how much money your local school is getting in your community moving forward.
Okay, thanks once again. Appreciate your getting up and being on with us so early. Appreciate your reporting. Thanks for your time. Julie O'Donoghue from the Louisiana Illuminated. Lord's blessings and have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, folks, that's going to wrap up that segment. It's 7:47 a.m. I'm Will Sutton with Ro Brown.
Good morning.
And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we got more news and information for you. All things go as planned. Don't forget, we got a special interview today with attorney Ben Crump. And he'll be giving us an update on the Nolan Wells situation. So much going on with that, and so much that we don't know, which of course is uncomfortable. So we're going to take a break. Ro, we got some time to take some calls. What's that talk line number?
The number is, of course, 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Real issues, real talk, real solutions. Miss an episode of The Reality Check? You can catch every episode anytime. Search WBOK Media on your favorite podcast app to tap the bold commentary, real-time reactions, and powerful perspectives from the people and leaders shaping our city. Download, share, and rate it 5 stars, because the real ones always stay informed.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
Step back into time and experience the moments that shaped our world at the National World War II Museum. This world-renowned museum brings history to life, telling the stories of the American experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. From immersive exhibits to powerful personal stories, this is more than a museum. Go to nationalww2museum.org and plan your visit today.
Protect your community. Build your future. Looking for more than just a job? The Southeast Louisiana Flood Protection Authority East is hiring. Join the Flood Protection Authority on Tuesday, August 4th and Wednesday, August 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 6920 Franklin Avenue in New Orleans for a 2-day career fair. Meet hiring managers, interview for over 50 immediate openings, and discover a rewarding career protecting more than 1 million residents across Southeast Louisiana. Bring your resume and come dressed for success. Visit floodauthority.org for more information.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton.
When it comes to family planning, should you go with a will or a trust?
A will is like leaving instructions to the court. It tells them who gets what, but your family still has to go through a succession, which can be costly and time-consuming.
A trust, on the other hand, avoids court altogether. So when the time comes, everything transfers smoothly to your loved ones.
It's a little more work up front, but way less hassle and expense later. Plan smart, save time, and take care of your family.
This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton here with Ro Brown at 7:51 a.m.
Morning.
You got somewhere to be at 8 o'clock. You got about 8 minutes now to get there, so make sure you take care of everything you need to take care of at home before you get into your car, your SUV, onto your motorcycle, whatever you are riding or driving, and make sure you take care of those personal care items at home and not in the car. Pay attention to the vehicle that you are driving, and keep yourself safe, keep others safe. Watch out for the crazy drivers, and watch out for our babies and kiddos who not quite in school yet, but they're out there going to summer camp and or in swimming lessons and whatever they're doing, or they're playing in the streets and driveways near where you live. Ro Brown, as always, news this time of year as we get closer and closer to football season.
Yeah,
and when we move from football season and then the Super Bowl, and then we ease on into the spring, and there's this action and that, and spring training. But then all of a sudden, August is here, and here we are.
Yep. And even when there's no news,
yeah,
there is news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Saints are in training camp right now, of course. Today is Monday, right?
It is.
Okay, so yeah, this
All day.
is the all day, all over the city, like my father used to say.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first day that they're going to wear pads to practice. You know, they're going to do a little pad work. You know, like I've always said, it's everybody looks good in shorts and t-shirts, and when they put on pads, that's really when you kind of find out who's who. Now, in this day and age, they don't kill each other like they used to, in practice, that sort of thing. And they don't practice 2 and 3 times a day and that sort of thing. But it gives you a little bit more of a realistic look at things. Jalen Polk, wide receiver that the Saints acquired, who's a young guy. He was one of those receivers that was with Michael Penix with the University of Washington team that played in the Sugar Bowl here a couple of years ago. He had been excused from practices for, they said, personal reasons. Well, I think yesterday he retired. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, he retired. It's, I don't want to say it's not a big thing, but they they drafted some receivers this year, and so it's not the kind of thing where the first round draft pick all of a sudden retired. You know, Jordan Tyson or anything like that. It's not that sort of thing. But, yeah, I mean, practices seem to be going pretty well. And like I've said before, I don't really have anything bad to say about how things appear. I mean, it really looks like, it doesn't look like. I think in the rebuilding process, they've hit all the right notes to me from what I could see at this point. You know, and I mean, I think there are a lot of people around the country that kind of feel like the Saints could be like a sleeper team this year.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
And,
you know,
Saints-
it feels that way.
Yeah.
The other big thing with the Saints is the Hall of Fame inductions.
Yes. Yes.
You know, that's, you know, it's for the first time. This is the first time the New Orleans Saints have had a player who is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay. A first ballot Hall, meaning in his first year of eligibility to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. That person made it, and it's Drew Brees. You got to wait 5 years till after you finish your career. Great players, great Saints players have made the Hall of Fame before. Ricky Jackson, first of all, you know, it took Ricky 10 years or whatever to get in, but which was ridiculous. But that happens a lot. William Rowe was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think it was his second year of eligibility that he got in. Morton Anderson, one of the few kickers, was in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Sam Mills, who did most of his career here in New Orleans, had another good career over in Carolina also. But, most people still think of Sam Mills as a Saint, which he was. And then you had people before who, like Doug Atkins and Jim Taylor, who, Hall of Fame deserving, not necessarily for what they did here, but what they did in their previous teams. Jim Taylor with the Packers, of course, and Doug Atkins with the Chicago Bears. But, Drew Brees will be inducted, and making the big thing about his presenter will be his head coach, Sean Payton. And, people, big story, that Sean Payton got emotional because people don't think of Sean Payton getting emotional. That Drew Brees asked him to present him. And the way they do these things now, they interviewed him for this months ago.
Yeah, right.
A couple of months ago, and they'll run the interview or parts of the interview at the induction ceremonies. But Sean Payton will be there, and some other Saints personnel, front office people.
Yeah, they'll probably have
owner,
a pretty good contingent.
Yeah,
in.
And Saints fans show up, and they wear their jerseys and they wear their gear. And
can the fans get in?
Yeah. They're fans.
They can observe the program and they don't have to stand outside.
Yeah, they're fans. Yeah, you can do that.
So other well-known quarterbacks like Peyton Manning, first ballot.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. Yeah. Deservedly so. You can pretty much figure out the people who
Tom Brady's not in there
yet. No, he'll be first ballot.
But he'll be first ballot.
Yeah, he will be. He will be. Yeah, it's the kind of thing. Like I said, I'm on a few halls of fame committees.
Yeah,
and there's some people that you really don't vote on them. You just kind of look at each other and go,
yeah, not really.
Are we gonna really go through the process?
Right.
Saints Hall of Fame. We did that with Ricky Jackson. Come on. Are we gonna? Do we really need to vote on this?
Yeah, right.
Is there anybody here who doesn't think that he? Yeah. And there's certain people that you can do that with.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is almost 8 a.m. It is 7:59 a.m. and bright sunny day outside. Stand by for some partly cloudiness in the next couple hours, but don't let that fool you because the heat will be arising and so will the humidity on today. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have more news and information to share with you. And don't forget, all things go well. We're going to have Attorney Ben Crump talking about Nolan Wells on the Good Morning Show. It is 7:59 a.m. I'm Will Sutton here with Ro Brown. What's that talk line number, Ro?
The number is 504-582-9422. That's 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK 1230 a.m. with New Orleans. It's talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Mike Island with BIN News Now. Big news from Cuba as 10 million people are without electricity this morning after their national power grid completely collapsed. The sudden island-wide blackout followed a severe regional outage that had already wreaked havoc in some sections of the island. Officials say the crisis has now plunged the entire country into darkness. Meanwhile, stateside Spokane, Washington remains under a major threat from wildfires. Officials say hundreds of structures have already been completely destroyed, and thousands have been ordered to evacuate the area. 3 separate fires have broken out near the city, none of them contained at all, reports say. As we've been reporting to you today, President Trump says talks in Iran will resume, and that reportedly is today. New airstrikes on Iran were halted ahead of the planned talks, although there's no disclosed location. Get BIN News Now 24/7 on the free iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton here with Ro Brown.
Yes. How are you?
Fabulous.
You know, one other thing before we go to something else, you know, she was talking about sports, I guess, you know, outside of the LeBron James decision, which has been a couple of weeks now, which people still talk about because it's LeBron James. It's a decision, that sort of thing, you know. I guess the other story, I guess, in basketball is in the WNBA, and it's trans athletes. Okay. Yeah, there have been things. One of the better players in the WNBA, Sophie Cunningham, came out, you know, against trans athletes, competing against women, as she said. And one of the head coaches kind of came out for, you know, for inclusion, put it that way, as she did. And, you know, I mean, they wore their shirts, and there have been demonstrations outside the games, that sort of thing. So that's what's going on over there, you know, with that. But, you know, and, you know, part of this story is that it's the WNBA. And the WNBA, you know, people who cover the WNBA say that, you know, well, we shouldn't be talking about this. We should be talking about the quality of the play on the court. You know, what these young athletes and these, you know, female athletes are doing, and how well they're playing the game, and so on and so forth. Well, you know, my reply to them would be, with added attention that you want and that you're getting, with added attention, other things will be attended to. Okay? The more attention you get, which you're getting, you know, people are going to look at other things in the league. And so this is going to be covered. 2 years ago, you know, nobody was even looking at the A lot of people weren't looking at the WNBA. It probably wouldn't have been that big a deal.
Right.
But that's what comes with it. You know, you can't all of a sudden say, no, don't look behind the curtain, you know, like the Wizard of Oz. You know,
right.
don't look. Can't. That's not how it works. And, you know, I mean, and the only reason why I thought about this yesterday because I see people on television who keep saying, don't talk about that. That's, well, you can't decide what's going to be covered in your sport. You know, that's not your decision. But that's what comes with added attention. That's all. And I saw that 3 times this weekend, where people who are covering the sport were saying, yeah, but we don't want to talk about that. Kind of
Well,
attitude.
you are talking about
kind of, that kind of, they don't say that, but yeah,
Has the WNBA collective bargain agreement, where they kind of stipulate different things for pay and how to operate and all? Has it always said only women are eligible?
I
to play?
I don't know that. I don't know
because
that
it
thing
is the
so new.
WNBA and whether it's WNBA, NBA, NFL, or accountants or whatever, your bargaining agreements change over time.
Yeah.
As culture changes, as the profession changes, you can't have in the accounting world something that doesn't take into account calculators.
Yeah,
and then AI. And, so forth. So.
Yeah, I mean their whole collective bargaining situation is so new. I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about it, or what they have in it or what they don't have in it. To be perfectly honest, I can't answer that. I don't know. That would be my answer. It's just an interesting situation. Like I said, because they're getting, I mean, every place where Sophie Cunningham's team plays, they got demonstrations outside against her, and then the demonstrators came who are, for inclusion of trans athletes, and so I mean, how do you not cover that?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not cover that? It's you almost have to.
Yeah, especially if it's a player of some note having something to say.
Yeah, exactly. And then a coach, an opposing coach with a kind of an opposing view, and wearing a T-shirt saying it's an opposing view.
Kind of a storyline writing itself.
Yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'll be dealing with that over time. People will have different ideas. Somebody will take a stand and say, I'm not going to do this. And somebody are going to say, well, I'll only do it if this. And then it's heightened to a different level, and people make decisions.
Yeah.
Along the way. So there's been nothing like this with the NFL, with trans men.
No, not that I know of. Not that I know of.
How likely is that? Much less likely, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't. That's the only answer I could give. I don't know. We don't know that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it was a different time, but I mean, they're pro football players that, when I was a child, who were playing, who were in the league, that I find out after they, retired, it was a big deal that they were gay.
Right.
All the while.
Right.
Right. And, you find out later, or found out later, and it's, so I don't know, I don't know about this. You just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. So what's hey, we've got a caller. So let's check in with our lower 9th Ward Mayor, Reverend Calhoun Yorn, Will Sutton, and Roe Brown. How are you, sir?
I am doing well, gentlemen. And
before
and
you start,
well with you guys.
Before you start, I'm gonna see you this week. Okay, go on.
This week.
Yep, I'll call you.
All right. Well, I do have some announcement to make.
Uh-oh.
The National Black Coalition of Federal Aviation Employees is celebrating their 50th anniversary here in the city of New Orleans.
All right.
All right. And I'm still a member, and just wanted to let the people know that we got over 100 and some odd people here that decided to come to New Orleans to celebrate their 50th year in aviation, blacks in aviation.
Wow. How about that?
You get 2 bell rings for that. Okay.
Yeah, well, you just letting you know that if you see my people, which I told them on yesterday, that they need to go spend money.
Absolutely.
We need money.
Yeah. Yep. So this is the 50th year, huh?
50th
Reverend
year.
Calhoun.
Yeah, you're coming in and out.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit about the National Black Coalition of Federal Aviation Employees.
It's an organization that was started. Hold on just a second.
Reverend Calhoun,
Yeah,
where are you? Come on, Reverend
Yeah,
Calhoun.
yeah. Actually, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to the Westin Hotel as we speak.
Uh-huh.
But but the organization was created actually to. I don't know if people realize, but there was racism back in the government back then.
Oh.
Which does not exist now, right? Is what you're saying.
No, not according to Donald. All right, but what they did though, man, they helped blacks get promoted. They brought us to another level. So I think it was such an honor to have them come and celebrate the 50th year anniversary here. Like I said, they're at the Westin, and I would love to see the city recognize them in some kind of way. I'm trying to see who I can speak to get a proclamation done just to hand out at our banquet tonight. It's
well, Rev, who are the people in this organization? And I guess what I'm asking is, what I'm asking, what region? What are the people? You know, what aviation? What are you talking about?
This is air traffic. This is every aspect of aviation that was. I work for the Federal Aviation Administration. So, and that's where it was founded at 50 years ago. So it brings us to that level of, the discrimination that was back then. These people helped combat that. They created mentorships to move blacks to the next level of promotion. So it does a lot. But it's air traffic controllers, it's engineers, the spectrum is across the United States.
Right.
We heard testimony yesterday of some young ladies that was the first blacks, and I've been retired now 18 and a half years, but they were the first black, and they're way behind me, but they were the first blacks to go into the facility that they had in their state. So what the NBC AFE has done has brought us to another level of being recognized in here.
Okay. All right. When did that start? When is it going to end, the conference in New Orleans?
Our conference will end on Wednesday, but we're looking at tonight is like I said, tonight is the banquet.
Okay.
So we're looking at having some kind of representation from the city just to acknowledge that they, that they thought enough of New Orleans to come here.
Absolutely. They could have gone any number of places, but they're bringing the 50th to the Crescent City.
Okay,
that's great.
So let me let me scold you right now. Okay. You wait until the thing is almost over and done with and gone.
I've been trying to get in touch with people since I thought this had already been arranged.
But I mean, was it mentioned here before? Last week, were you available to say anything about this to us?
Oh, yes. I should have said something last week.
That's what I'm saying.
And,
okay.
You know when Roy and get on the radio, he kind of hog things. Wants to be the sports guy all the time. But
That's
gentlemen, I'm on my way to City Hall now to see if I can get somebody to come tonight for 6 o'clock and recognize the organization that has been a tremendous help to moving blacks forward in the FAA, in the federal government, period.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. So, bro, if you ask for permission, I can verify with your wife that you're allowed to come back into the Lord now. Well, how did everything work out Friday night?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Did the young lady show up?
No, but there was a miscommunication. So, but that's all right. We are connected, thanks to you. So
Okay.
we're gonna make that happen, and I'll be in touch to see how I can be of assistance to her. Young sister, journalist, new to New Orleans. So we'll get her settled in and get her going as she continues her journalistic journey here in our city. So, all right.
Well,
okay. Well,
Thank you, sir.
One thing I do appreciate with you, Will, is letting people know that we're back in schools on time.
Absolutely.
And not to speed through these school zones.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. We got to take our time.
All right, then,
all right,
gentlemen.
sir.
I
Lord's
appreciate your
blessings.
time.
Thank you, man.
Any way I can give any assistance to anybody, let me know.
All right. Lord's blessings. Have a great day. Okay, we got another call. Good morning, Ms. Jones. You're on Will Sutton and Roe Brown. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, and how are you all? Good morning to the audience. I was called to make a comment. Maybe the universities, Dillard, SUNO, Xavier needs to be notified, Zulu, where it's big, about this aviation. Could that be done? Is it too late?
You mean have them? What are you saying? Let them know about it? That the convention is here? Well, I mean,
hopefully they're listening.
We're doing it right now.
Right, but in advance, he's just said he should have. But even now, I mean, big organizations like Zulu, I mean, they're all over the world.
Yeah.
And why couldn't there be some participation so that they'd be known, let it be known, and voters registration at the same time?
Absolutely. Always. Voter registration. Yep. So I guess your point is that we have an organization like that with black folks in aviation, and we've got a bunch of talented young folks looking for careers, and maybe they should be connected, huh?
Exactly. My daughter has a good friend who is highly involved. She lives in Florida. She's from another state, but she told us to look out for it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great idea, and since Reverend Calhoun said their banquet is tonight, but they're not ending until Wednesday, seem if any professional, any educator, teacher, parent knows some young person interested, perhaps they can go over to the Westin Hotel, find out what's going on, maybe meet a few people.
Yes,
and,
20 people.
Get some information about the various careers in aviation. So that seems like a good thing.
Yes, civic groups and everything. And like I said, at the same time, promote voters registration and preparation for this election that's coming up in the next few days, you could say.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Lord's blessing,
thank
Ms. Jones. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Good to know that the black aviators are in town. Yeah. And Ms. Jones with a very astute suggestion.
Yeah.
Get the young people over there. All kinds of
Aviation.
careers.
I was thinking about. I've been to school. Let's see, because I did a story on this. Middle Tennessee State, I think, had a big aviation curriculum there. So I kind of looked up, Florida Memorial in Miami, Langston in Oklahoma, Morris Brown, of course, in Atlanta, Tennessee State. Those are some HBCUs that they got have aviation programs and that sort of thing. Yeah. Elizabeth City State. There are a number of them. Hampton. I think Hampton has some.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Hampton, Norfolk State.
Yeah. Yep. Indeed. Indeed. Yep. So. All right. Well, it is 8:19 a.m. and if you got somewhere to be at 8:30, you got about 10, 11 minutes to get on over there. Please be careful. Take care of your things that you need to take care of at home, so you're not in the car taking care of mustaches and makeup and clipping nose and ear hair and that kind of thing. I mean, just take care of that at home. But if you need a lunch pail. Remember those?
Yeah.
Knapsack, backpack, attache, whatever. Make sure you got your keys, your watches, and if you need to look in the mirror, make sure you got all of your teeth in there. Make sure you take a look before you head out the door. It is 8:20 a.m. I'm Will Sutton with Ro Brown, and we're going to go to break. And after the break, we hope to be making a connection making a connection real soon with Mr. Crump. All right, 8:20 a.m. What is that talk line number, Ro?
The talk line number is 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK 1230 a.m. what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Here's a look for you at your Monday morning headlines. Tonight, residents on the West Bank are invited to come to a community town hall. This is the first of a series of town halls designed to connect people directly with elected officials, to increase voter education, and to offer voting registration. Several legislators from different districts will be attending. It is happening at 7 p.m. at Second Highway Baptist Church. Today, the namesake of the long-serving gelato and pastry parlor in Mid-City, Angelo Broccato, will be laid to rest. Broccato passed away in July at 85 years old. He was the third-generation owner of the ice cream shop alongside his brother, Arthur. A visitation will take place at noon at the Greenwood Funeral Home on Canal Boulevard, and a memorial mass will follow at 3 p.m. And across the Crescent City, the 22nd annual Culinary is now underway, and restaurants are hoping that diners will take an interest in their promotional menus. The event is critical to promote restaurants during the slow summer months. Culinary continues through the rest of August. That's a look for you at your Monday morning headlines. I'm Elizabeth.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
Extended through Labor Day, Louisiana residents get half off general admission to the National World War II Museum. Take advantage of 50% off and beat the summer heat at New Orleans' #1 attraction. Don't wait. Plan your visit at nationalworldwar2museum.org.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Greetings and salutations. I am Elwood B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
This summer, the place to be is downtown. From incredible restaurants and shopping to retail, wellness, and so much more. Enjoy special offers and discounts from participating downtown businesses all season long. Brought to you by the Downtown Development District. Whether it's after work, date night, or weekend fun, there's always something happening downtown. Plan your next outing at participating locations like Coppervine, Mother's, the Audubon Aquarium, and Riverwalk Outlets. Visit downtownnola.com. Summer starts here.
Did you hear the news? Dr. Clark's 101 The Living Classroom has a new time. Catch us now every Wednesday at noon. Same program, same great conversations. Just a new time. So catch Dr. Clark's 101 The Living Classroom this Wednesday and every Wednesday only on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Mostly sunny and dry start to a new work week. Slightly lower humidity is in place. It's not enough to make a huge difference, but won't make us feel as oppressive. Highs reach 91 to 94. A few scattered showers possible this afternoon, especially along the coast. Tonight, 74 to 79. Then tomorrow, 92 to 96. A few scattered showers possible as well. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am Will Sutton, and I'm here with Ro Brown.
Good morning.
It is 8:27 a.m. You got to be somewhere at 8:30 a.m. You got about 3 minutes to get there. So hopefully, if it's that kind of gig, you can slide on over to the other side of the bed, pull out the laptop, fire it up, and get to work. Look, as promised, we are going into a Nolan Wells update with none other than Attorney Ben Crump. Good morning, Brother Crump. This is Will Sutton, Omega Psi Phi. How are you,
How
sir?
you doing, Q? Good to hear your voice, man.
I saw you out there at the Clave. I wasn't there, but I was watching the pictures and everything. So.
No, it was beautiful, brother. You were there in spirit, and also Nolan Wells' parents came and received, prayers and support from the Omegas at the 85th Grand Conclave, where we had about 20,000 brothers in attendance.
Right. Well, I'm Will Sutton. I'm here with Ro Brown, and of course, there's great national and international attention on the Nolan Wells case, and they clearly made a very smart decision to get you and your team involved with this. And as you know, there is a lot of intense interest, concern, frustration, and to use a word or phrase just shy of cussing, people who are pissed off about what they see has happened. So that includes people in the greater New Orleans area in Louisiana. So can you tell us what is the deal with this autopsy? Is it a joint autopsy? Is it completed? Did you and your team have a role to play? Did they exclude you? Are there next steps with the autopsy of Nolan Wells?
Yeah, Brother Sutton, at this point, that we've been informed that the state of Mississippi autopsy has been completed, but they have not divulged to us in any way what the findings of that autopsy are. We continue to fight and push for transparency. That's why we had the independent autopsy that was performed by Dr. Roger Mitchell at the behest of the family, made public, because we believe in transparency, because that is the critical answer question here. The family has always said from day one, they want to know what is the truth about what happened to their 18-year-old black teenage son when he went to Horn Island on the 4th of July. And as we continue to stay over and over again, even though we're being attacked and threatened, talking about, we're just causing issues, the Mississippi got some nerve to say we race bait, and when this black kid ends up dead in some highly questionable, suspicious circumstances surrounding his death. But we continue to say, I am for truth, no matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. I am for justice, no matter who it convicts or acquits. And I am for transparency so everybody can see, because right now a lot of people don't trust the Mississippi officials on this case.
Well, did your team have a chance to do its own autopsy?
Was there more than one?
Yes.
And was there more than one, or
autopsy?
was it the same one, a joint one?
No, it wasn't a joint autopsy. We got the body 6 days later. It was flown to Washington, D.C. to have it conducted by Dr. Roger Mitchell, incredible forensic pathologist, a renowned forensic pathologist who was the chief medical examiner for the city of Washington, D.C. for 7 years before he took over Howard University forensic science department as their dean. And so he did it, and he found that the cause and manner of death was undetermined at this time, pending further investigation. But he did find that Nolan Wells had red discoloration in the back of his brain, and that was something that he thought could be of significance when arriving at the conclusion. And also, it was significant in his autopsy that he found that the state of Mississippi had retained Nolan Wells' throat. And he said that normally it's a common practice, but when you do that, you normally want to do it because you're investigating some question whether he had some neck fractures or some neck compressions. And so those are the things that he said were significant. And he said, but we don't know what was the condition of Nolan's airways and lungs, because when he got the body 6 days later, they had already dissected his organs in the first autopsy. The state always gets to go first. The government always gets to go first when a person is dead, because they are the ones that have the body in their possession until they release it to the family in the funeral home. And then you can only do the independent autopsy once the family gets the body. And so that is how things progressed. They got the first autopsy. He got the second. So we're trying to see a couple of things. Number one was his airwaves and his lungs waterlogged. That meant were they filled with water to suggest drowning? We don't know that. That's why we ain't speculating on it. And then he said if it is drowning, as the sheriff suggested what was on day one without any investigation, and that there was no foul play, then there are questions that become very prominent. And those are, if he were drowned, then what was the condition of Nolan's body before he went in the water? Was he conscious or unconscious? Was he forced into the water, or did he go into the water unforced? He said all of these become very important factors when you start to consider what happened to cause the manner and death of Nolan Wells.
Where is the throat now? And will the chief examiner in D.C. who did the autopsy on behalf of the family, will he have a chance to look at the throat?
Well, they said that they were on our request to have him look at the throat. Also, he needs to be able to look at their slides and their photographs and everything else. And so that's what we're doing.
How soon will that happen?
we don't know. We have no control. We don't know when the grand jury is going to be convened or anything. Now, I apologize, Brother Sutton. I'm going to have to talk a little lower. I'm with my mother at her chemotherapy appointment.
All right, no problem. I'm sorry. Okay, all right, go ahead, Ro.
Yeah, Mr. Crump. When I was, is there something legally that you could do if you feel like the state is just withholding these findings from their autopsy?
Well, as long as they say it's an ongoing criminal investigation, there's nothing we can do at this point. And that's what we just got to keep making it public because, you know, if they try to sweep it under the rug or delay it until people try to forget, there's nothing we can do as private citizens other than continue to advocate over and over and over again.
Okay. Now, one of the issues that has caused a great deal of public concern is who are these friends and what kind of friends and how close are these friends and where were the friends and where are they now? Have you and your team been able to identify each and every friend who went out with Nolan, who were out there with Nolan and returned with or without Nolan? Have you identified each of those friends and their parents or guardians?
Yeah, our investigation has recovered all of that, but we continue to say that we're not casting any aspersions whatsoever. We just want the truth of what happened. We want them to be, transparent, just like we've been transparent, and we want the prosecutor, the district attorney, to investigate this matter zealously, just like they would if the roles were reversed.
Now, in the case of one of the friend's stepmother, she is a judge in Jackson County.
Yeah, I won't get into that because we still investigating, and we don't want to speculate.
Okay, well, let me ask you a different question. Is there a reason or could there be reason to move the case out of Jackson County?
Don't know at this point. We don't want to assume that there's going to be a case. They got to present it to a grand jury. We got to fight to make sure that the grand jury has a thorough and a conclusion of the investigation. They get the information to be able to say what happened to Nolan Wells and to be able to bring whatever charges on whoever they feel had anything to do with the death of Nolan Wells. So we don't assume that's going to happen. We're fighting for transparency, and we're fighting for a full, fair, and impartial investigation into Nolan Wells in Jackson County, Mississippi. And we know that's why we have to continue to make everything public so everybody can see what happens, because in the past, things have not always happened for Black people like we felt they should in Mississippi when you look at their history.
Now, the audio that was released by the state and has been shared over and over and over and over again. Do you look at that audio as authentic, as something that can be relied on, and the different approaches to looking at the audio with audio engineers and other experts saying there's nothing there, and all the way to saying very specifically there are comments about Nolan on the boat, on the audio. Where do you and your team stand with what you have heard or have not heard with that audio?
Well, what we have done is retain some of the foremost forensic audio engineering experts in the country to analyze those that CTO 911 call, and so we're going through that now. We don't want to speculate. We want them to render that expert audio engineering opinions within a reasonable degree of certainty within the standards. And so we are looking at everything, dotting every I, crossing every T, looking under every rock. We believe that this audio may end up proving very relevant once it is authenticated, and that's what we're working on to authenticate it. We hope to know sooner rather than later what our experts think about the audio.
This audio did come from the state of Mississippi, correct?
It came from the state of Mississippi from a recording by the private company who tows boats in distress.
Okay. And the audio professionals that you're relying on, who are these audio professionals, and when will they have their report?
We don't know. We're working as effectively and as efficiently as possible, but what you want to do is let experts do their job and not rush them and everything, so you can make sure they can defend their opinions.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Mr. Crump, I just wanted to say that, you mentioned it before, that you've accused of race baiting and stirring stuff up and that sort of thing. And, I just want to say that, I think whatever you're doing the right thing in this case. And it's not that you think that anybody did anything. It's just that you want to make sure, because of, how things are done quite often in these kinds of situations. And if it turns out that he drowned, that nobody did anything, that would be fine with you. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We want the truth. Yeah. We want the truth one way or the other. Again, like I said, it doesn't matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. We want the truth, period. What we say when people take the stand, we want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Now, as you're well aware, Mississippi is a pretty black state, and a lot of black elected officials, and there's different levels of diversity across the various counties in Mississippi. Jackson County is somewhat diverse, with more than 65% white population and at least about 18-20% black population. What kind of impact does that type of diversity in Jackson County have as you look at this case and investigate this case with the family?
Well, obviously, you want representation on the jury or any potential jury pool that can relate to Nolan Wells' life and his life experiences and his culture and his community. We find when we analyze jury verdicts that those become some of the biggest aspects of how a jury ultimately reaches their conclusions. Is based on them being familiar with the parties that are involved. And so that is going to be very important, that we have a diverse jury pool and that you have some black people, some white people, some brown people all on the jury, but not that it's just all white, but it needs to be diverse, a grand jury and a diverse jury if criminal charges are brought. And so we continue to fight for the constitutional rights for black people, because we want to make sure that they understand that we want our constitutional rights enforced in Mississippi and everywhere else in America.
Now, in terms of socioeconomic status, you have had a number of cases of various types over the years, fighting for families and fighting for justice. Jackson County is not one of the poorest counties in Mississippi. It's not one of the richest, but it's a good, strong middle class to upper middle class county. What is the difference with fighting for justice in a county like that, where, as some of these other cases, there are black folks in trouble, particularly with law enforcement, in less wealthy communities?
I think that it's important to try to even the playing field, whether it's an affluent community or a marginalized community. The fact that we are up against people who got a lot of things in that community resource-wise. So we don't take it for granted. We know we got to be able to match resources with resources. And so that's why I thank God for being successful and being blessed in our law practice, where we can give our children, our black children, a chance at equal justice always. And then the other thing I was going to say, and we fight for victims. A lot of them are dead victims, and whether the suspects or the defendants are black or white, we fight just as hard. We're fighting just as hard for Shanquella Robinson. Yeah, I remember that case where the young black woman went to Mexico with her so-called 5 black friends, and they beat and they killed her, and there was a video that went viral. And the Mexican authorities charged the people, these friends, but the American government said they happened in Mexico. We're not going to do anything. And Mexico said they can't do anything to American citizens. And so we're fighting as hard for her family, even with the suspects and the defendants being black, just like we're fighting for Nolan Wells' family. So we fight for dead victims, and we fight in communities no matter where they're at, to try to say it's America and that the constitutional rights should apply to every citizen, no matter race, color, or ethnicity. And I may have to take this call, yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of,
all right.
that's
all right. Before you go, obviously, you are looking at whether there are charges or not charges, and if there are, pursuing this with the most fierce investigation and pursuit legally as possible. But as you look at the types of settlements that you have had with the Butler family and Dwayne Washington, Randy Cox, George Floyd even, in Louisiana, we had Ronald Green, and that was about, I think, $5 million or something. Why was that not much higher with what we in Louisiana felt was an atrocious situation from 2019?
State of Louisiana. State of Louisiana. Y'all know it better than I do.
That's your answer, huh, Mr. Grubb? That's all you got to say.
That's all we got. Hey, thank you, brothers. I really appreciate y'all, and continue to highlight Nolan Wells and all of these tragedies involving our people, because if we don't use our platform and our voice, then oftentimes mainstream media and the powers that be will just sweep it under the rug. So thank you all. God bless you all. Wendell Pierce, all of y'all, we need y'all now more than ever.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Lord's blessings. Have a good day.
Okay, Frank. God bless. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I appreciate him coming on with us, because he said he was with his mom.
Right.
Chemotherapy at the time. That's why he was whispering.
That's pretty darn important.
Wow. You go.
Wow.
When you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Good to get an update from Ben Crump about the Nolan Wells situation, and right at the end there, his summary about the case of Ronald Green, state of Louisiana. That was the way he said it.
Louisiana.
Wow. State of Louisiana. Oh, boy. Okay, look, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be happy to take your calls to hear what you heard, what you think about the Nolan Wells case, and our conversation with Ben Crump. And otherwise, we'll have some other news and information before we get out of here. This is Will Sutton with Ro Brown. We just wrapped up the conversation with attorney Ben Crump talking about Nolan Wells. And Ro Brown, what is that talk line number?
The number is 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
It's off the top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
In nearly 50 years of covering Louisiana's justice system, I have never witnessed the indictment of a sitting state attorney general by an Orleans Parish grand jury or by a grand jury in any other Louisiana parish. That was big news. Then came even bigger news. All of the charges were dropped by the special prosecutor assigned to oversee the case. Former Judge Lori White, the special prosecutor, says she dropped the indictment against State Attorney General Liz Murrill because New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno and other city officials urged her to do so to ease tensions between the city and state. The mayor offered a peace sign asking Governor Jeff Landry to meet so they could resolve their differences. Landry said no, not until the city gets things in order. Requesting that the AG charges be dropped was another peace sign. Landry still said no, thank you. Landry and Murrill have no interest in being friends with New Orleans leaders. I understand not wanting to be friends with people who you think want you to be put behind bars for 80 years. The circumstances and the players are different, but what we have here is the latest chapter in a long history of the bruising political wars between the state and the city. It's not good for the city or the state. Who knows how this latest drama will play out? What matters is whether this legal grudge match helps citizens who want leaders who will improve their quality of life. Now, this unfortunate drama is damaging our state, our city, our judiciary, and our chances for more economic development. It boils down to this. It's a cartoon with characters bashing each other, and it's not funny. We deserve better. This is Norman Robinson. Off the top.
Missed a show? Want to hear that guest everyone's talking about? WBOK is now streaming on all your favorite podcast apps. Just search WBOK Media, hit download, share with a friend, and don't forget to rate your favorite shows 5 stars. Because when our voices are heard, our impact grows.
We are the rhythm of the streets.
The flavor in every dish.
The story in every song.
We are New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Foundation.
We help artists build the future of New Orleans.
Because when the culture thrives, our people thrive.
Every note, every brushstroke, every dish is a door opening new possibilities for those who carry our traditions forward. And when we open that door, the whole city moves forward. For New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Foundation, culture is our open door.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Protect your community. Build your future. Looking for more than just a job? The Southeast Louisiana Flood Protection Authority East is hiring. Join the Flood Protection Authority on Tuesday, August 4th and Wednesday, August 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 6920 Franklin Avenue in New Orleans for a 2-day career fair. Meet hiring managers, interview for over 50 immediate openings, and discover a rewarding career protecting more than 1 million residents across Southeast Louisiana. Bring your resume and come dressed for success. Visit floodauthority.org for more information.
Climate Hope NOLA presents this month's climate keyword, adaptation. Climate adaptation means preparing our communities for stronger storms, hotter days, flooding, and rising water. That means planting trees, restoring wetlands, protecting homes, and helping families recover stronger after disasters. In New Orleans, resilience is part of who we are and how we survive. Learn more, stay informed, and take action with Climate Hope NOLA. Visit Team Hope NOLA on Instagram to learn more.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton with Ro Brown. We've got a call. Good morning, Ben. You are with Will Sutton and Ro Brown. How are you, sir?
Hey, Will, thanks, man. Hey, I was going to say my name was Goose because I think Pop Jones gave me a new name, Goose, a couple of days ago when I had called in last.
I remember.
Hey, listen, I am impressed. I really am that you guys were able to get Ben Crump on. I really am because I know, a lot of media is after him. And I'm also impressed he was able to take the phone call in a doctor's office or wherever he actually was.
I know. That's pretty
amazing.
Like I said, pretty amazing.
He said his mom was getting chemotherapy, Ben, okay? So,
oh, my God.
So, come on now.
Yeah, I know. But, hey, unfortunately, I think it's a big snow job, unfortunately, because I think what he's doing is he's taking an accident and trying to turn it into some murder.
And
well, he didn't say that, Ben. He did.
Well,
he did
well,
not say that.
No. You heard Ben. You heard what the man said. Just wait.
We're gonna give you another chance.
You heard what
we
the
need
man
to be
said.
real clear.
Yeah.
That he
Don't
said,
come up with that.
He said where there is or isn't, whatever there is, he made that very clear that they simply want to know the truth. He did not say anyone's guilty. He did not say there's a homicide. He did not say anyone did wrong. But if they did, we want to know that. And if they didn't, we want to know that. That is what he said.
And he also said, Ben, that, yes, he is doing this because I asked him specifically, okay? Yes, we are doing this, and we do these because of past injustices and to make sure that it is given equally, that these things are covered equally, that they are not swept under the rug. That's what he said. So you can't. Okay. So you're wrong, Ben. No.
Unfortunately,
you're wrong. You're wrong.
People lie. Unfortunately, lawyers lie. And what he's doing is, if he didn't think that this was a murder, then why go through all this trouble?
Well, then sometimes radio callers lie too. Okay, anybody, a lot of people can lie, but
why invest all of this money? Why hire all of these experts?
Because he can.
Well, that's not a very good business model. You don't see businesses going around throwing all this money away.
You're talking about his business model, okay? But because he can, okay, and because he wants to, because he can do that, okay?
Well, you don't think
Ben?
Well, you don't think Crump is running a non-for-profit, do you? He's running a for-profit law firm.
Absolutely, Ben.
Okay, all right then.
Ben, if this was your son, and there were as many unanswered questions as there are, would you jump to the conclusion that it was murder? And if you wouldn't, would you say, I need answers? If this was your son.
Okay, I understand that.
No. Would you answer the question?
They have answers.
Would you want answers?
They already have answers.
Would you want answers that they don't have?
I would accept the answers that came out. Listen,
already that would be enough
drown?
for you.
Listen,
only what we know now would be enough for you.
Yes. Do you know how many people drown every year in Mississippi, both white and black? Mississippi is one of the highest states in this nation for people who accidentally drown. That doesn't mean that it's a murder case or that the entire premise.
He didn't say it was a murder.
Well, okay. He just invested all of this money to make some accident look like it was a murder. But listen, the point I'm trying to make is this: the entire premise of this case is something fishy happened because he had white friends. I don't understand that.
I do.
That is not.
Okay.
That is
okay.
Not.
What?
And a lot of
what
people
is it,
do.
Ro?
And a lot of people do. And if you find out, and if you find out that nothing nefarious happened, great.
Well, what is this entire premise that something fishy happened because he went out with a bunch of white friends? I don't get it.
Ben.
Okay.
Well, we don't get it either. But here's the difference. You're saying you're satisfied with the information that's there, and we and hundreds of thousands of other people are not. We are not satisfied with the answers that we have. We're not even family members, and we want questions answered. No matter what is the result, we need answers.
And if you have a lawyer who will
blessings, have a
do
great
that,
day. We got to get out of here, make room for the front porch. We're going to continue looking at this Nolan Wells case because it deserves more questions, answers, and justice, whatever that might look like. All right, folks, it is 8:59 a.m. This is Will Sutton and Ro Brown signing off, getting out of here. Get ready for the front porch. After that, we'll have Tavis Smiley, and of course, we'll have G-Man in the afternoon with the reality check. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all